2018 Stelvio Quadrifoglio in the shop today, and today we will be doing the rear brakes. Let's get this started. First things first, before we start anything, we're gonna head inside the car. Gonna go to settings, driver assistance. We're gonna go down to brake service, and we are going to do yes. So select yes. And what it's going to do is it's going to back out the parking brake for both sides all the way. And it tells you right there to reset, press the brake pedal and activate park brake switch. So when we're done with everything, that's exactly what we're going to do. All right, so the vehicle is in brake service mode. We went ahead and removed the right rear wheel. Next up, we are going to disconnect the e-brake motor. And then we are going to remove the two T50 bolts. One here, one here. We'll remove those. We'll remove the e-brake motor. And then we will go ahead and disconnect the brake pad wear sensor as well. And continue from there. We got the parking brake assembly off. Disconnected the brake pad wear sensor. Here's the other end of it. Next, what we're going to do is take our 5mm punch here. It looks like this. If it'll focus. There we go. 5mm punch. And I already kind of pre-did this. But we're going to pop these guide pins out, top and bottom. So we're popping them out. And that's what they're going to look like, right? Pull them all the way out. Next up, we're going to take these 10mm hex bolts all the way out, and that'll release the caliper from the vehicle. And we can then take out our brake pads. All right, we went ahead and removed those two 10mm retaining bolts for the caliper. And here's what they look like. Pretty long, as you can see. Yeah. Not focusing at the moment, but it is what it is. So we're hanging this safely from the spring, and this is what I want to show you guys. So to push the pistons in, you guys are going to need to get a brake pad spreading tool like this, and typically it goes where these ears here are laying the other way. So instead of like this, they're like this, but they won't fit here, so I had to get them in there like this, but it's still gonna work. So what I'm gonna do now is crank this up, and it's going to spread open, and it's gonna push the pistons in to their bores. That's giving me the space I need to put new pads in, and then once we get those pistons pushed in, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how we're going to remove this rotor. It's pretty simple. It's just a 5mm hex bolt here. You can see, you just remove that bolt, and then if it doesn't want to come off first try, just give it a good whack. Since you're not going to reuse it, just whack it with a hammer right here on the edge, for either on the front or the back. I prefer the front, just because it kind of jars it and then it busts it loose. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you guys and show you what it looks like with the new rotor and the new pads installed into here. All right, new brake rotor is installed. We went ahead and torqued our 5mm hex bolt, what they call the brake rotor to hub bolt, to 62 inch-pounds. 62 inch-pounds for that guy. Or if you want to just make it tight, that's fine too. Hand tight. Don't go cranking on that with the electric gun, because you will strip that very easily. Next thing I went ahead and did was I installed the brake pads. And what I did to kind of hold them in place was I went ahead and installed the guide pins. Not all the way, obviously, because you need a hammer to hammer the heads to get them to press all the way in. They're press fitted. Just to hold the pads so that way when you put the caliper with the pads back onto the rotor to tighten those 10mm hex bolts, the pads aren't flying all over the place. It's real easy to just slap it on. So let's go ahead and take care of that next. Rotor is installed. We went ahead and torqued our bolts to 77 foot-pounds. So don't forget that. 10mm bolts, 77 foot-pounds. All right. Went ahead and placed our brake pad wear sensor on the bracket. It's already provided on the caliper. Next, we're gonna install the electric parking brake assembly. So we got our electric parking brake assembly back on. We're gonna go ahead and reconnect these. And just so you guys know, the two T50 bolts that you guys removed to remove this parking brake assembly, you cannot reuse those. Those are non-reusable. Alfa Romeo does not recommend you reuse those when you put this back together. So when you go ahead and put it back together, keep that in mind, or when you're preparing to do this job, just keep that in mind that you're going to have to replace those fasteners. Now once you get the new ones on, and you're going to go ahead and torque those down to 30 Newton meters plus 45 degrees. 30 Newton meters plus 45 degrees. Or if you don't have a torque wrench, just hit them up tight. The best I can say. I mean, don't go taking a 1/2-inch breaker bar to them, but make sure they're really, really tight. You don't want that thing flying off on you. So yeah, let me go ahead and plug this back in, put the wheel on, and I'll demonstrate how to take this thing back out of brake service mode. All right, since we are now finished with the brake service, what we're gonna do is take this thing out of brake service mode. So turn the key to the on position and step on the brake, and then pull up on the parking brake switch. And then you should get this notification: brake service, park brake reset, brake service complete. If you get anything else besides that, you could have an issue. What that issue is, I can't say for certain, but more than likely either you'll have to reset the system by clearing DTCs or doing a relearn on the whole system, which you'll need a special scan tool for. But 10 times out of 10 you won't have to have that issue. So go ahead and hit close, and that's pretty much it. So thanks everybody for the watch. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Share this video with anybody that you may think needs to see it. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.